Hello, good morning children. I welcome you all for today's session of online class of Sri Gokulam Guruvayur. Children, in our last class we have discussed about the organization structure. We saw that there are functional structure, divisional structure, formal and informal structure. Now we are here with a new topic, that is delegation. What do you mean by delegation? Delegation refers to the downward transfer of power from a superior to a subordinate. So there is a shift or transfer of authority from a superior to the subordinate. So a superior is transferring his power to the subordinate. So that is known as delegation. Here is a definition given. Delegation of authority merely means the granting of authority to subordinate to operate within prescribed limit. So, here the superior is transferring some authority to the subordinate. Within that authority, the subordinate should do the work. So, limits are there. A prescribed limit is there, under which the subordinate will get the power of the superior. Now here is the concept of delegation. What is the need of delegating, of authority? A manager, no matter how capable he or she may be, in doing the task, but the overload of work make it impractical for him or her to handle it all by himself or herself. So in order to ensure that all the work is accomplished and the organization goals are achieved, he or she must delegate authority. So to reduce the overload of work and to get the work in a correct time and to achieve the organizational goal, a best solution is delegate the authority to the subordinate. Now here are the principles of delegation. The first point is, for effective delegation, the authority granted must be commensurate with the assigned responsibility. What does this mean? This means if authority is more than the responsibility, the result is misuse of authority. That is, a person is getting authority, power more than his responsibility. So there is a chance that he can misuse his authority. And if a responsibility is greater than authority, that is, he is getting more responsibility but not that much power or authority, that at that time what will happen? It may make a person ineffective because he don't have power but he is responsible for that work. So there is a chance that person will have to face, he will be ineffective in his work. So what actually we need is the balance between authority and responsibility. So the power or authority and responsibility should be balanced. Let us understand this concept with an example. Suppose a divisional manager enhances, that is, increase the target of production from 500 units to 600 units per month. So per month they have a target of producing 500 unit and the divisional manager decided to increase that target to 600 units. But the divisional manager, he have not given the authority to draw the raw material. So here we cannot blame production manager who is responsible for producing this 600 unit. We cannot blame that to production manager, as he didn't get the authority to withdraw the raw material. So unless he cannot get the raw material, how can he produce that? How can he achieve the target? So we cannot blame the production manager in such a situation, because we can see that He has received that responsibility, but he have not received the authority to withdraw the raw material. So because of that imbalance, what happened? The target was not achieved. Now, second principles of delegation of authority is delegation does not means abdication. Abdication. Can these pictures tell you something? See, delegation means sharing of work. The manager is sharing, or some burden of his work, some part of work is shared by the his subordinate, so that the manager can concentrate on more core activity, more important activity, and the routine work can be given to his subordinate. So he is equally both of them are doing the work. But abdication means the manager, he is giving his subordinate the whole work, and the manager is relaxed but the employee is suffering. So abdication. So delegation does not means abdication. That is the point. So the manager shall be accountable, that is answerable. Here in this case, who should be answerable? A manager should be accountable for the performance of the assigned task. He or she cannot escape from the responsibility for any default or mistake on the part of his or her subordinate. This is known as the principle of absoluteness of accountability. In this case, the manager, he cannot escape from the responsibility because he have to reduce his burden. He is sharing some part of his work with the subordinates. So if subordinate made any mistake, he cannot escape. Manager cannot escape saying that it was done by the subordinate. I am not responsible for that. He have to take responsibility. He is responsible for the task which is done, which is shared to his subordinate. Okay, so he cannot escape from the responsibility. So this principle is known as absoluteness of accountability. For example, suppose the director of a company manufacturing computers have asked their marketing manager to achieve a sale target of 100 computers per day. The marketing manager has delegated the task of his or her deputy sales managers working under him or her. The deputy sales manager could not achieve the target. In this case, the marketing manager is responsible or accountable to the director for the failure of the deputy sales manager to achieve the sales target. The process of delegation does not relieve the marketing manager of his or her own responsibility. So here in this case, you can see that deputy manager is giving a target of 100 sales per day of a computer, and the marketing manager, he delegate the work to the deputy sales manager. Okay, but deputy sales manager, he could not achieve the target. So the marketing manager cannot blame the deputy manager, as he is equally responsible for that failure, and he cannot that is, he is accountable for that. So this process of delegating does not mean that marketing manager is relieved from his responsibility. Okay, so that is the second principles of delegation. The next point of principles of delegation is the authority granted to a subordinate can be taken back and redelegated to another person. So a superior had the power to that is, take back the delegated power from the superior subordinate and redelegate it to some another person. So that right is there with the manager. Okay, so these are the three principles of delegation. Now let us conclude today's topic. Today we saw what is the meaning of delegation. We saw that delegation means transfer of authority from superior to subordinate. So that is a downward shift of authority. Then we saw the definition of delegation. We saw the concept or need of delegation. Why we need delegation? It is the burden or to accomplish the organization goal. The manager is alone cannot do that. So he transfer his authority to his subordinate. So that organization goal can be achieved effectively. Then we saw 3 principles of delegation. So it is time to wind up today's session. You have to read the chapter covering these points, underline the important points under the topic delegation, attend your test paper, and write down the notes in your business study notebook. Tomorrow we will have more discussion on this delegation, and we will see what are the elements of delegation. So till then, goodbye, take care, meet you in the next class.